इन समय सुल्तान का हुआ हुकुम पुरदल खाना, रहे रामनगर एक बैरागी, तिनकी तुम करियो पहचान। ये कौन है, कहाँ से आए, है इनका मतलब कौन। इन सुन हुकुम किधर को भेजा ऊपर मोमिन, इन सुन हुकुम किधर को भेजा ऊपर मोमिन। इन समय सुल्तान का, बोले श्री धाम के धनी की जय। So on yesterday's discourse, we were in Ramnagar. Mahamati Prananath is trying to awaken the souls of all different faiths, Hindus and Muslims alike. A lot of Muslim scholars come to Mahamati Prananath. He is revealing the secrets of Quran for Muslims. A lot of Hindus come. A lot of people believe in Vaishnava tradition, Sakta tradition, Saiva tradition, those who believe Lord Shiva is the Lord Supreme, those who believe in goddesses, those who believe in Lord Vishnu as the Lord Supreme, among other people that Mahamati Prananath unravels the teachings of Vedic scriptures to awaken them. So a lot of people have been awakened, and Mahamati Prananath continues his mission to awaken the souls. The king of Ramnagar is Chhatra Singh. Mahamati Prananath thinks of him. It could be the Sakundal Sakhiya Paramdham. So he makes sincere attempts to awaken Chhatra Singh. But what happens about him, that's something that we'll discuss today as well. So Aurangzeb somehow finds out that Mahamati Prananath is in Ramnagar. He is in Aurangabad himself, Aurangzeb. So once he finds out that Mahamati Prananath is there in Ramnagar, he asks Sikh Khidar, Purdal Khan first, his associates, to arrest Mahamati Prananath. इन समय सुल्तान का हुकुम हुआ पुरदल खान, रहे रामनगर में एक बैरागी, तिनकी तुम करियो पहचाना. Identify who that person is and arrest him. And Purdal Khan orders his associate Sikh Khidar to arrest Mahamati Prananath. So Sikh Khidar was sent by Purdal Khan. First, Sikh Khidar sends a notice to Mahamati Prananath. हुक्म पातशाह के हम आए तुम पर, जो ढीला करो इन बात में, तो होत गुनाह तुम पर. ये बात राजा सुन के भेज दिया कोतवाला, तुम कहो स्वामी कृष्ण दास को ऐसा हुआ हाल. So Sikh Khidar asked the king of Ramnagar, Chhatra Singh, to have Prananath arrested. He doesn't know yet that he is Prananath. He doesn't know yet that he is the Imam Mahdi. He asks the saint be arrested. So the king of Ramnagar sends one of his associates, a policeman, to inform Prananath that Aurangzeb wants him arrested. So Mahamati Prananath receives the message from the policeman, and he sends the message back to the king saying that I'm not leaving Ramnagar. He was sent the message that एक 4 दिन तुम यहाँ से बैठो, जाए जागा और फिर के तुम आइयो बैठियो अपने ठौर. So we would like you to leave for now, and when the things settle, then you can come back to Ramnagar and do the work that you're doing. So that was the message that Mahamati Prananath receives from the king of Ramnagar, Chhatra Singh. But Mahamati Prananath says, ताको श्री जी साहेब जी ने झुक के दिया जवाब, हम ना डरे पातशाह से, आवे क्यों न शिता. Mahamati Prananath says, I'm not afraid of Emperor Aurangzeb. Let them come. I will handle the situation myself. हम तो राह देखता हैं, क्यों कर बुलावे हम, बैठ रहो घर अपने, जिन उपराला करो तुम. तब कोतवाल जाएगे करी राजा सुहारजा, बैरागी तो यूं कहे हम ना डरे इन करजा. So Mahamati Prananaji sends the message to the king via the policeman that I'm not afraid of him. Let him come. I'll deal with the situation. Actually, I expect him to come. Actually, I want to meet him and have a discourse, have a discussion. So don't worry about me. Don't worry about the condition that I may be facing. Don't worry about the repercussions of my denial of leaving this place, because I expect Aurangzeb to come to me, talk to me, have a discussion, and if he wants to arrest me, let that be. I'm not worried about it. So the message was sent to the king. And again, he sends the message to Mahamati Prananaji. He says the same thing, that I won't be able to protect you. I won't be able to save you from the impending danger. And I was told that I would be attacked. The kingdom of Ramnagar would be attacked. So I want you to leave. But Mahamati Prananaji is not ready for that this time. Because what happened to Mahamati Prananaji in Udaipur, that he was forced to leave Udaipur, and the kingdom of Udaipur was attacked. Sundar Satji were in trouble and they had to be rescued. So he knew what happened. So he could not go back to Udaipur, and that did not end up well for Prananaji and the Sundar Sats. So this time around, Mahamati Prananaji is not ready to leave Ramnagar just yet. So second time, the king sends the message, and again, Mahamati Prananaji denied leaving Ramnagar. So finally, when Sekhidar continues to push the king to arrest Prananaji, the king said, I told him to leave, but he doesn't want to go. So he's all yours. Whatever you want to do with him, you want to arrest him, you want to chase him away from Ramnagar, whatever that you want to do, you are free to do. So the king, Chhatra Singh, raises his hands, give a nod to Sekhidar to do whatever that he wants to do with Prananaji. So what Sekhidar does is Sekhidar sends Vikhari Das to arrest Mahamati Prananaji. So Vikhari Das goes to Mahamati Prananaji, and Mahamati Prananaji is giving the discourse without any sense of fear or any sense of uncertainty that he might be arrested. And Vikhari Das goes to the discourse, as Mahamati Prananaji is giving the discourse in such an excitement, such a divine aura, that he gets impressed by the discourse. Mahamati Prananaji is unraveling the secrets of both the Vedas and the Qurans, and the Josh of Mahamati Prananaji, the aura, the zeal of Mahamati Prananaji. He cannot resist to listen to his discourse. So he listens to discourse for 3 days continuously. On the 4th day, he receives the Tartam mantra and becomes the disciple of Mahamati Prananaji. So he says to Mahamati Prananaji, I came here with a different purpose. Actually, I came here to arrest you, but actually it so happened that you arrested me. You made me submit to your lotus feet. So that's the case. When you go to a pilgrimage, when you go to the awakened saint, awakened priest, awakened sadhu, then a lot of times it so happens that your heart is made pure. You realize that you have been fortunate to meet that person, that awakened soul, and in a lot of circumstances, in a lot of instances, you submit to the lotus feet of that saint and sages. Such was the case with Vikhari Das. So it is the same Vikhari Das who eventually becomes the accountant of Mahamati Prananaji. He takes care of the accounts of Mahamati Prananaji while he is in Panna with 5,000 Sundar Sats. So he keeps account of all the things that are coming to Mahamati Prananaji and all the expenses and all that. So he assumes the responsibility of that. So he was there to arrest Prananaji and see what happened. Such is the glory of Mahamati Prananaji, such is the aura of Mahamati Prananaji. We hear about the story of Guruji Mangaldasi Maharaj. Guruji often shared the accounts, life accounts of Guruji Mangaldasi. And he used to tell us that a lot of Buddhist monks and Christian priests would come to Guruji Mangaldasi, and they would just sit and watch Guruji Mangaldasi. They would not say a word. And when Guruji asked them if he could be of any help to them, if they wanted to share some things or they wanted to listen anything from Guruji, they would just say that we just want to see you and witness your glory. Because he was an awakened soul. He had that charisma. He had that effulgence. He said he had such positive vibes in him that everybody would just be fascinated just being around him. So such is the case with awakened souls. Mahamati Prananaji said, Jene darshan netra thare, ane vachana kahi thare, anga aneka bigana pade jo mate, tohina mukti samira. There are some awakened souls where when you see them, you cannot resist looking anything else. You just want to look at them. You just want to be there. You just want to be a part of such providence, of being able to be in the vicinity of such person. And whenever they say any words, then you are captivated by their words. And if you find such an awakened souls, then what you should do is you should never go away. You should never walk away from such an awakened soul. Even if you may have, even if you have to deal with a lot of difficulties doing so. So here Bhikkhari Das comes to arrest Mahamati Prananaji, and he becomes the disciple. He is ready to give up everything at the lotus feet of Prananaji. He renounced everything and assumes a responsibility he never thought he would do. So Bhikkhari Das becomes a disciple, the person that goes to arrest Mahamati Prananaji. Sekhi there knows it, that Bhikkhari Das becomes the disciple of Mahamati Prananaji. So Sekhi there was a little afraid, and hesitantly he comes to Mahamati Prananaji, and before he comes to Mahamati Prananaji, he sends the message to the king again. Why don't you arrest him? Arrest him and hand him over to me. Otherwise, you might get attacked. Prananaji receives that message again from the king, and he doesn't want to leave Ramnagar simply because he receives the message. So finally, Sekhidar comes to Mahamati Prananaji. Like we've already known, Mahamati Prananaji does the discourse from the Quran and the Vedic scriptures simultaneously. When Sekhidar comes with the purpose of arresting Mahamati Prananaji gives the discourse on the teachings of Quran. From Husaini Tafsir in the Quran, he is unraveling the secrets of 7 signs of Qiyamah. He is talking about the arrival of Imam Mahdi. He unravels the message of the deepest meaning of dead rising from the graves. Kabra se murde utna. What does that truly mean? Mahamati Prananaji reveals the secret of Alaf Lam Mim. These are the 3 words. If you open a book of Quran, you find in the first page of the Quran these 3 words. And what Muslims believe is that only the Mahdi Imam would be able to reveal the secrets. Only the God himself, when he comes at the time of the day of judgment, that he would unravel the secrets of these 3 words. Once again, those words are Alaf, Lam, and Mim. So Mahamati Prananaji reveals the secret of these 3 words and the different concepts of Quran, such as the revelations of the words of Quran to Prophet Muhammad, Muhammad's ascents to heaven, the chapter of Maharaj Nama, the chapter that Prophet Muhammad had the divine vision of the Lord Supreme. So all these concepts are made clear by Mahamati Prananaji. As Mahamati Prananaji unravels the secret of the deepest symbols and deepest teachings of Quran, Sekidar himself becomes the disciple of Mahamati Prananaji and promises that he would be propagating the teachings of Mahamati Prananaji to his fellow Muslims, dear Sundarsans. Mahamati Prananaji asked Sekidar, "You came to arrest me. What happened now?" So Sekidar says, "I came to arrest you, but you kept me with you. You actually arrested me. I've been so fascinated by your understanding, your revelations, that I could not leave. Instead of arresting, I'm submitting to your lotus feet." So Mahamati Prananaji asked Sekidar, "Why don't you relay the message that you've been my disciple to Purdal Khan?" So Mahamati Prananaji sends the message to Purdal Khan, who first asked Sekidar to arrest Mahamati Prananaji, whom Aurangzeb relayed the message to arrest Prananaji. So Purdal Khan could not come to Prananaji because he was not the awakened soul, or he did not have the spirit of one of the consorts. So he could not dare coming to Prananaji because he thought if he comes to Prananaji, then he would be changed as well. And there would be people who do not want to be awakened. There would be people who do not want to understand this transcendent understanding. There would be people, the jivas, who are unwilling to be a part of this divine discourse. And such is the case. Because the most glorious things in the world can only be received by a very few people. Because a lot of people do not dare walking the path, because such a path of highest glory is often not straightforward, full of difficulties, full of difficult terrains that not everyone can walk on, because it's beyond their comfort zone. You know, everyone wants to go to a party, everyone wants to go to a club, everyone wants to go and have a dance and have drinks and all those things. But when it comes to going and listening to the discourse for hours, when it comes to meditating for hours, when it comes to chanting the name of God for hours, a lot of people do not have the patience to do so. A lot of people do not have the courage, do not have the attention, do not have the interest in such things, because these are glorious things. While everyone knows that the path they are heading on, the path that they are walking on, does not get them anywhere, does not give them the glory. Yet, that's the easier path because they find many friends. When we're walking on our worldly goals, material goals, when that is only thing that matters to us, then we find many friends. If you invite people to your child's birthday, for example, a lot of people would show up because they get to dance, they get to talk about the kid, and then they can expect you to go to their child's birthday as well. But when it comes to satsang, when it comes to divine discourse, only a very few people will come and listen. Dear Sundarsati, that is why when there are discussions, when there are parties, we find hundreds of people, and when there is a satsang, when there is a religious discourse, only very few people attend. So Purdal Khan was not ready to go. And he sends the message to Emperor Aurangzeb. He was in Aurangabad, like I already said. It was when Mahamati Prananaji was in Ramnagar that Aurangzeb left Delhi, because his seat, his Singhasan was tilted. He started seeing weird things, lions and deadly beasts in there, sitting in his crown. So he could not be there. So he goes towards the south and tries to rally around his troops and all that, but he becomes regretful of not being able to take in the message of Imam Mehdi Mahamati Prananath. So Sheikh Hidar sends the message to Burdal Khan. Burdal Khan does not show up to Prananath. He sends the message to Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb regrets that when he had a chance to meet Prananath, when he had a chance to embrace the teachings of Mahamati Prananath, he did not. So he feels truly bad about it. And one day, Sheikh Hidar goes to the king of Ramnagar, Chhatra Singh, and asks, have you ever gone and listened to the discourse of Imam Mehdi Mahamati Prananath? He is the Sakshat Imam. He is the Buddha incarnation, Niskalanka Buddha incarnation. Have we had a chance to go talk to him? Have you had a chance to meet him? The king says, no, I have not. Then Sheikh Hidar says, shame on you. Such a divine personality is in your palace, is in your kingdom, and you have not even met him? I have become his disciple, being a Muslim. He has awakened my soul, and being a Hindu. A saint has come to your kingdom, and you have not met him. I'm truly, truly upset. I'm truly, truly sad, says Sheikh Hidar. Look at the Leela of Dhamdani. Look at the Leela of Sri Raji Maharaj. A Muslim disciple of Mahamati Prananath is cursing the Hindu king that Mahamati Prananath is trying to rally around to fight up the Muslim Emperor Aurangzeb. It should have been easier for Chhatra Singh to go and listen to the discourse of Mahamati Prananath, because he would not have any trouble doing that. Sheikh Hidar going and listening to the discourse of Mahamati Prananath, a Hindu saint per se, was something of an anomaly, something unexpected. One day, the king came, but listened to Mahamati Prananath's discourse from distance, because he was afraid that Mahamati Prananath had some magical powers, and by that power, he would undermine him. He would make him his disciple. He is the king. He doesn't want to bow down to anyone for that matter. He was not close by. He could not pay attention to the discourse of Mahamati Prananath, so his soul could not be awakened. Mahamati Prananath realized that Chhatra Singh definitely was not the Sakundal Bhai of Paramnath. So he needs to leave Ramnagar and try to find another king that might be the Sakundal Sakhi of Paramnath. As Mahamati Prananath tries to leave Ramnagar and travel towards Gada, Mahamati Prananath and his disciples were surrounded by the Mughal soldiers, the soldiers of Aurangzeb, and they had to fight him off all night. And when the morning happened, all the soldiers, all the armies of Aurangzeb ran away, and nothing happened to a single Sundarsha. They were fighting up with stones and bricks. Like I've already said, like Prananath says, when there is a grace of Sri Raji Maharaj, nothing can happen against him or her. As saints say, Jako rakhe saiya मार सके न कोई, बाल न बांका कर सके, सब जग बैरी होए. Mahamati Prananaji is traveling towards Gada, but before that, Mahamati Prananaji, we are going to look at the context of Mahamati Prananaji and how Chhatrasal Maharaj receives the message of Mahamati Prananaji's arrival to Ramnagar. So while Mahamati Prananaji is in Ramnagar, Mahamati Prananaji awakens Surat Singh, one of the first disciples of Mahamati Prananaji in Ramnagar was Surat Singh. So once he was awakened, he went to Devakaran, who was one of the ministers of Maharaja Chhatrasal. So Surat Singh, as he was awakened, he went to Diwan, meaning minister Devkaran, and told him about Mahamati Prananaji and his divinity. So Diwan Devkaran goes to Mahamati Prananaji. He submits to his lotus feet and he listens to his discourse. Thodi characha sunaki dilaki bhagi sakka. So after a short time, his soul was awakened and he was initiated into Dharma. So Diwan Devkaran realizes that Mahamati Prananaji is looking for a king who could fight against Aurangzeb. He also realizes that Mahamati Prananaji is looking for the Sakundal Sakhiya Paramdham. So thinks for a moment, Diwan Devkaran thinks for a moment that his uncle, because Diwan Devkaran was the nephew of Mahamati Prananaji, Maharaja Chhatrasal. So he realizes that his uncle could be the Sakundal Sakhiya Paramdham. So he wants to relay what he knows about Prananaji, his understanding and his awakening, his transcendent understanding to Aurangzeb. He was an Orthodox Hindu king and he is looking for a guru. He is looking for a spiritual master. So he tells Mahamati Prananaji, "May Maharaj so kaho, oh Iman Shaka, it is certain that if I go talk to him about you and if he gets a chance to have a discourse with you, if he listens to your discourse, then he would certainly be awakened." So Mahamati Prananaji is traveling towards Gada. Mahamati Prananaji, as he hears from Diwan Devkaran that Maharaja Chhatrasal could be the Sakundal Sakhiya Paramdham, he sends Diwan Devkaran to Maharaja Chhatrasal to relay the message that Mahamati Prananaji wants to see him. Mahamati Prananaji wants to meet him. So Diwan Devkaran was not in Mau, in Panna. In Bundelkhand, he was in Ramnagar. So one day Mahamati Prananaji asked Devkaran before he leaves for Panna to relay this message to Maharaja Chhatrasal, "Why are you living in Ramnagar? Why did you leave Chhatrasal and why you are living in Ramnagar?" He said that, "I was not happy with Maharaja Chhatrasal for some reasons. So I'm here in Ramnagar." So Mahamati Prananaji asked him to go ahead and go ahead and relay the message to Maharaja Chhatrasal. "हम सब राजा देखे पर काहू न देखा अंकुर, साकुंडल इन्हें परखी तो इनसों होशी मजकुर." I have tested so many kings. I haven't found the Sakundal Sakhiya Paramdham yet. It is very likely that Maharaja Chhatrasal is the Sakundal Sakhiya Paramdham, the leading consort of Lord Supreme. I'm trying to awaken and find for such a long time. So why don't you go to Chhatrasal and relay my message? So yes, he was about to leave, Mahamati Prananath asked Lal Dasi to look at the holy books, any holy books, and see if the work of Divan Devakaran would be successful. So Mahamati Lal Dasi started working on that, and as soon as he found a book of Quran, he opened the book of Quran, and the page came in which he was in the 16th chapter of Quran. Sipara is what it is called, where there was a description of Moses. It's called Musa Paigambar. He is the Moses. And Moses wants to fight off the king called Pharaoh. And Moses realizes his helplessness because he is a renunciate. He's a fakir. He doesn't have anything with him. So he prays to Lord Supreme and asks for his help. The king has millions. Kings have thousands of soldiers, thousands of armies to fight, but I do not have anything with me. So in that chapter, it was stated that the Lord was graceful to Moses and he gave him a brother named Harun. So with Harun, with the help of Harun, Moses could fight off the king, the tyrannical king named Pharaoh. So as Lal Dasi finds this from the book of Quran and describes it to Mahamati Prananath feels truly happy that he wants to fight Aurangzeb himself, Mahamati Prananath. And Aurangzeb has hundreds of thousands of armies, hundreds of thousands of forces, guns and swords, and every necessary things to fight, while Mahamati Prananath does not have anything with him. So what Mahamati Prananath realizes is that Chhatrasal could be that person. Like Harun to Moses, Chhatrasal could be for him to fight off, to defeat the tyranny of Aurangzeb. And Mahamati Prananath was truly happy and felt that, oh Lord, it is the grace of Sri Raji Maharaj. So in the meantime, while he was in Ramnagar, Mahamati Prananath was trying to send Lal Dasi again to awaken Aurangzeb and other Muslim associates of Aurangzeb, but he postponed that because he now realizes until he meets Chhatrasal Maharaj and rally Hindu kings around him, he would like to postpone it. So Divan Devkaran now relays the message to Chhatrasal Maharaj, the coming of Mahamati Prananath in Ramnagar. Mahamati Prananath is about to leave Ramnagar. He is traveling from Gara to Attariya and from Attariya to Mau towards Panna. So the message is relayed and Mahamati Prananath realizes now that it could be Chhatrasal, the Sakundal Sakya Param Nam. So in Sri Krishna Pranami faith, Nijananda sect, the name of Maharaja Chhatrasal is uttered with such a grace and respect. Chhatrasal Maharaj was the son of a warrior of Bundelkhanda, Sampat Rai, and his mother was Lard Kuvari. So he was the son of Sampat Rai and Lard Kuvari. So he wanted to free Bundelkhanda, the area of Madhya Pradesh and some extended areas. He wanted to liberate Bundelkhand from the tyranny, from the clutches of Aurangzeb. Here, the Muslim Emperor Aurangzeb had killed his brother, his oldest brother, the eldest son and heir apparent of Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. He had killed actually his oldest brother in 30th August 1659 and became the emperor himself. So Champat Rai was fighting off the Mughals, the armies of Aurangzeb, and his oldest son was Sarbahan, the eldest brother of Maharaja Chhatrasal was Shah Jahan. And during a war against the Mughals, he was killed. Chhatrasal's mother, Lord Kubari, was truly upset. She started crying and crying and crying. And one day she had a dream. And in the dream, Shah Jahan spoke to her and saying that I would be reborn. So it was the year 1706. In the second month according to Hindu calendar, 1706, Jyeshtha Shukla Tritiya. In English calendar, it was the year 1649, May 14. Maharaja Chhatrasal was born to Champat Rai and Lord Kubari. So while Chhatrasal Maharaj was a child, his mother and father both were warriors. They were fighting up the Mughals. So he was taken care of by his maternal uncle. And he also learned to fight. He learned some skills to fight, to play with the swords and the guns and all that. He learned from his maternal uncle. And it so happened that one time, Champat Rai and Lord Kubari, his mother and father, were surrounded by the Mughal armies because somebody leaked their whereabouts to the Mughals, and they realized that they could not escape, so they killed each other. Instead of getting killed at the hands of the Mughals and tortured, they killed each other. And when Chhatrasal Maharaj finds that out, he becomes truly upset, and he takes a resolve. He takes a resolution that he would one day liberate Bundelkhand from the terror of Aurangzeb. So he was at the age of 16. Chhatrasal Maharaj was married to Devchandraji, and during his lifetime he gets married to few queens. According to today's socio-cultural values, that would probably be a wrong thing to do, but he had quite a few queens with him because he was such a warrior, and it was normal for kings to have few queens. Maharaja Chhatrasal goes to Chhatrapati Shivaji, the Maratha warrior, the Maratha king, the king of Maharashtra. He was fighting up the Mughals. He was such a warrior that Chhatrasal Maharaj wanted to learn some skills to fight out, but Chhatrapati Shivaji was a good friend of Champat Rai, Chhatrasal Maharaj's father, so he did not want to fight. He didn't want Chhatrasal Maharaj to fight under his banner because the reputation, the name, again, would be given to Chhatrapati Shivaji, not Maharaja Chhatrasal. So he realized that he suggests Chhatrasal Maharaj to lead a fight against Aurangzeb on his own. Chhatrasal Maharaj realizes that Chhatrapati Shivaji was continuously guided by his religious master, spiritual master, Guruji Ramdas. So he was his guide, and Chhatrasal Maharaj had nobody. So he wanted to have a guru, he wanted to have a spiritual teacher. So he returns to Bundelkhand. For a couple of years, he works for the armies of Aurangzeb himself to learn some skills, some fighting skills, some war skills, war techniques. And after he returns to Bundelkhand, he creates a small army with 25 soldiers and 5 horses. But it so happens that he does not have anything to pay off his army. He was young, he did not have any resource, and people were not supportive. The kings were not supportive of him because he just had a small army of 25 people, and they would make fun of him when he said that he would one day be able to liberate Bundelkhand from Aurangzeb. So he was truly upset. He paid them off. He paid them off with some of the wealth that was left behind by his parents. But the armies would say that they would not continue fighting for Maharaja Chhatrasal until they would receive the monthly allowances. So one day, very desperate, Chhatrasal Maharaj, wandering around the forest, hears from a saint. He goes to the saint and expresses his frustrations because he wants to fight off the Mughals, but he does not have any resources. He does not have an organized army. He does not have any wealth or resource to pay them off. So that saint reminded him that in the next 12 years, a saint would come to you, would come in your life, and I'm blessing you that you would be blessed with that saint. And when he comes into your life, then all the things would change for good. You would have all the resources, you would have all the motivations, you would have the stronger army to fight and liberate Bundelkhand from Aurangzeb. Maharaja Chhatrasal asked him, but how would I recognize him? How would I know? Because I may meet a lot of saints along the way, but how would I know that person, that he would be the saint that I'm looking for? And the saint, the sannyasi, gave him a coin, and that saint who would show you another coin like this would be the one, and whenever you see him, submit to him, just pay your respect and become his disciple, and your life will change for good. So Chhatrasal Maharaj is waiting for that saint, waiting for the arrival of that saint. He is waiting for 12 years. He cannot wait enough for these 12 years because he is helpless. He cannot fight off the Mughals, and he is not given the proper respect by the people of Bundelkhand, let alone the kings of different kingdoms that fell within the periphery of Bundelkhand. So he comes with a coin and reminds his soldiers that have patience. And when I meet my Satguru, when I meet a true Guru in 12 years, then I would be able to pay you off, guys, and we would be able to liberate Bundelkhand. So gradually years were passing, and it was about 12 years. And that is when Chhatrasal Maharaj eventually gets an opportunity to meet Mahamati Prananath. In the meantime, Mahamati Prananath sends Lal Dasi, Uttam Dasi, Jivandasi, among other Sundar Saji, to the palace of Chhatrasal to Mau, because Divan Devkaran does not return to Mahamati Prananaji with the message of Chhatrasal. So Laldasi is there. Sune Sloka Maharaj ne Bhagavat ki kahe Laldasa. So Laldasi gives the discourse from Bhagavat Mahapuran. And Chhatrasal Maharaj feels truly blessed to have such an awakened person giving him the discourse of Bhagavat. So he is truly happy. And he asks Divan Devkaran, Maharaja Chhatrasal asked Divan Devkaran to invite Mahamati Prananaji to Mau, to Panna. As it is said in Bhagavad 11, 14, 16, Nirapeksham munim santam nirvairam samadarsanam anubrajamyaham nityam puye yatyam grinenuvi. With the dust of my true devotees, with the dust of my true devotees' lotus feet, I desire to purify the material worlds, says Sri Krishna in Bhagavatam, which are situated within me. Thus, I always follow the footsteps of my true devotees, who are free from all personal desires, wrapped in the thought of my leelas, my pastimes, those who are peaceful without any feeling of enmity and of equal disposition everywhere. So God wants the dust of such devotees. Chhatrasal Maharaj says, I am nothing. Where Sri Krishna himself wants the dust of his true devotees as someone who is looking for his spiritual master for all his life. It would be my glory to have Prananaji in my kingdom. So Divan Devkaran, why don't you go and welcome Prananaji? Mahamati Prananaji has hundreds of thousands of awakened souls with him, nearly 5,000 of them. Mahamati Prananaji arrives in Panna via Agariya and Bilahari with 5,000 Sundar Sats. And Mahamati Prananaji gets to Panna and reaches Amarai Ghat at the banks of a river named Kilkila. On tomorrow's discourse, we'll talk about how Mahamati Prananaji meets Maharaja Chhatrasal, how Indravati Sakhi of Paramdham meets the Sakundal Sakhi of Paramdham, how the Lord Supreme Sri Raji Maharaj in Prananaji receives and meets the leading consort of Paramdham, Sakundal Sakhi. It will be a glorious moment, because after Mahamati Prananaji leaves his material body, then Chhatrasal Maharaj takes the lead of awakening Sundar Sats. He accommodates more than 5,000 Sundar Sats in the city of Panna, continuously participating, sending religious leaders and saints to different towns and cities for the purpose of awakening souls. It was Maharaja Chhatrasal who fights up the Mughal emperors, Mughal soldiers, Mughal armies, and he beats in Mughal armies in every battle that he fought. So Chhatrasal Maharaj is regarded as one of the leaders of Pranami community. So the meeting, the events that leads up to the meeting between Prananaji and Chhatrasal Maharaj would be discussed tomorrow. So thank you all so much, Sundar Saji,